Hey, good evening, North Houston. This is Christopher Burns with KNLY 91.1, The Boss. I'm here with a special Today's Entrepreneur with Beth Taylor from the Vacation Hut. You're a vacation guru. Now, how did you get into the vacation business? And you told me it was a long story before, but we got the time.
Well, it's a very long story, but I actually started out promoting some timeshare resorts in Mexico and generating leads for them, and also offering their members discounts on airfare back in the day when, you know, travel agents had specials on airfare. And through no advertisement of my own, clients started calling wanting different vacations, and over a 2-year period, we turned into a completely retail agency specializing in beach vacations.
Great. So it came very organically, and your experience and the travel industry came with all the knowledge, and so you were the go-to person when friends needed a place to go, right?
Pretty much. I had traveled extensively to the area because we were promoting certain resorts, and so those clients trusted us when they wanted to go to other destinations.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Now, if now you do a lot of beach vacation, a lot in Latin America. What's your favorite place in Latin America? What's your favorite resort going on right now?
Well, my favorite place is Mexico. Cancun, Riviera Maya is typically everyone's favorite, but my favorite is Puerto Vallarta. It's a very authentic destination.
It's less touristy, and you get the more authentic flavors, the more authentic food. Is it?
That's one of the things. It's a very authentic destination. Puerto Vallarta was a thriving economy for hundreds of years. People have lived there. The Huichol Indians are still living in the mountains as an indigenous tribe there. So not only do you get a beach vacation, but when you come in, you're in their world, where Cancun was created for the tourists. So everything is appealing to the tourist. Puerto Vallarta is a little bit different. It sometimes takes a little getting used to at first.
But you get more of that cultural exchange instead of a typical tourist vacation that you could even find in the U.S.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The town still has the original cobblestone streets. You have vendors up and down the Malecon selling shrimp on a stick, or people
awesome.
that come from their homes with their own homemade drinks that they sell in the plaza. And you don't find that in a lot of tourist destinations anymore.
And there's a lovely picture of you. Where is that taken at?
That, I believe, is at Hard Rock Cancun.
Oh, okay.
We do a lot of groups, and Hard Rock is very popular among groups. We also do destination weddings, and that's one of our top brands for destination weddings is Hard Rock.
You do honeymoons too, is that correct?
Right. We do romance travel, anniversaries, honeymoons.
What's the most popular place to go for a honeymoon?
I think right now is St. Lucia.
I'm not familiar with St. Lucia. I guess that small island in the Caribbean.
It is. It's mountain formations. There they call them the pitons.
Okay.
Some people refer to it as the Kauai of the Caribbean. It looks very much like Hawaii. It's very tropical. It is, an exclusive island that doesn't have a lot of mass market travel. So it's very popular among honeymooners for that once-in-a-lifetime trip.
That's pretty awesome, and that what really separates you from it's a run-mill travel website, that you get all this great experience and information. And you were telling me a little bit about you were talking about cruises earlier, and you giving me the lowdown on what to do and what not to do on cruises. Don't just be herded along, but go to the destination that is not advertised by the cruises, you was telling me.
Well, the cruise ships obviously have excursions and things that you can buy in your package. You can buy through their website, and it all goes in your app on the cruise line. Makes it very simple for travel. But also everyone else on the cruise ship is doing those same excursions. So we work with companies in some of the more popular destinations to provide some excursions that all the cruise passengers aren't doing. So you get a little more authentic, less people involved.
And you get the little hideaways and
Yes.
the places you really want to visit, and you also take out the stress out of looking for the vacation instead of you actually make a vacation because I don't know how many times, especially I remember we took a trip to Florida, Disney World, and I needed a vacation when I came back.
Well, we try to arrange everything from the transportation to and from the airport. We provide insurance just in case something happens. Little things like we were discussing earlier. I set up a late checkout for a client because their flight didn't leave the destination until 4 o'clock. And just little things like that set us apart from just booking online or even going to a full-service agency.
Oh, okay. So when I call in, I'm coming into Greece, for example, and one of the islands out there. There's someone waiting there that have my name and can take me to the hotel, get me checked in, and let me explore the whole island myself. So that's all taken care of and all stress free.
Absolutely. So it depends on the level that you want, but when you arrive into a destination, we can arrange shared transportation from the port of entry, whether that be on a cruise ship or airline, to your hotel. Or you can even do private transportation with a driver that may even show you around the island on the way to your hotel.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these videos you have here. Man, quite gorgeous side. I'm guessing that's the Caribbean out there.
That is actually the Mexican Caribbean. That is Cancun Riviera Maya, just south of the Cancun airport, and you were looking at the El Dorado overwater bungalows.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yes.
How much one of those trip will cost me if I want to go, for a bungalow for a vacation?
Well, the bungalow's a little expensive, but you could actually stay on that same property. Yeah. For under $1,000 per person for a 3-night stay.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty reasonable for an average Joe right there.
Oh, absolutely. And it's gourmet inclusive, 5-star service, 72 rooms plus the bungalow. So it's a really nice romantic getaway.
So moving away from the Caribbean, you do a lot of tours in Europe. What's your favorite place out there?
Well, we like Italy. Right. Who doesn't love Italy? We love the food, the culture, the everything about it, the food, every region is very different because we love food.
And it's not like American Italian food, completely different from.
Well, there's a little of that involved. I think it came from somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think people don't realize, just like in the United States, where you come from, you typically have a different accent if someone comes from somewhere different. It's the same in Italy. The food is different region by region.
And if I remember,
and in America, we just get a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, America is a melting pot, but you do now. You do whole city tours over there. You do you're telling me you guys you set up tours for about visiting 6 different cities. And
yes, so we do a pre-planned itinerary or an escorted tour, whichever your comfort level is. An escorted tour would mean that everyone taking that tour would meet at the same place on their date, and they would have a guide with them for the full 7 days and go city to city, all of the excursions included, everything preset, nice transportation from city to city. Very simple. You just show up and enjoy.
Hey, that's how it's done, right?
Right.
So, you got any specials going on right now? Being that this come the end of summer, do you also now that comes to me? Is this the best time to book your vacation for next summer? Do you how does that work?
I typically advise, if you want the best deal for summer, to book somewhere between mid-October and the first week of December.
Okay.
You're truly going to get the best pricing, so now's a great time to call me or your other, your preferred travel agent and start doing your investigation.
Okay.
Start looking into your options, and then be ready when I call you back or your agent calls and says, now's the time to book.
Yeah.
That's the time to book. Now is a great time to book last minute for fall.
Okay.
Fall sale, the beach for fall is low season, so there's good availability, nicer weather. And if you are looking for a couple's getaway, very little children in the destination in the fall.
Hey.
And I was telling you before, we're very fortunate in Houston that we are 2 hours and 20 minutes from Cancun, from Puerto Vallarta, from Cabo, from Miami, a little over 3 hours to Jamaica. So we have some nonstop flights in very reasonable time. You can typically be at the beach by noon.
And also, the one thing I was thinking about now that Cuba is kind of opened up to Americans a little bit, have you have any planned trips out there, any tours?
Well, we were working on that, and some of those tours have been canceled by the current government.
Pause,
So everything that had been put in place is kind of on hold right now.
Sad to hear that.
So, but we had clients go. Most everyone that went loved it. We've had clients go on cruises, and we've had clients go on what was originally called the people-to-people tours, which was completely regulated by the government.
Yeah, that must be pretty hard to actually get the culture of the authenticity in Cuba. But
I believe so.
Yeah,
Because you're pretty much watched, and your whole trip was
so that's kind of
very escorted and very detailed.
So it's better than go to Belize or something like that to get the tropical experience. But
if you want something laid back.
I guess it's more of like the enigma of Cuba that kind of attracts people to it.
I think it is.
Yeah, and all the 50s cars is pretty cool. I'm actually curious if that's true. They nothing but 50 Chevrolets going around.
Pretty much.
So, so you're telling me you kind of got into this very organically, but you got into it at an interesting time when 9/11 happened, and that tragedy caused a lot of changes in the travel industry. But you were able to survive and definitely grow. Could you tell me a little more about that?
Well, a lot happened around the 9/11 time, not just 9/11, but I actually was running a full-service agency with multiple employees from my home. But that was not necessarily home-based. Agencies wasn't a thing. And after 9/11 and changes in the airline industry, it put a lot of travel agents out of business. And the ones that were able to hang on to the customers that they had, in addition to all of the online travel agencies coming out, that was all of those things happened at the same time. So the agents that were able to stay in business, most of those moved home, and it became, over the last 15 years, normal for certain businesses to be stay-at-home, work from home businesses. So I've actually been a stay-at-home entrepreneur for 18 years. I had offices, for 20 years prior to that, but for 18 years I've worked from home, and it's allowed me to be there when the kids come home from school.
Hey, that's great. So you have a work-life balance. It's just all in one place.
I wouldn't call it a balance. It's mostly work.
Yeah. So, what made you become an entrepreneur? What? Because you said it happened very organically, but what made you took the risk to become an entrepreneur other than just staying in the timeshare business?
Well, the way it happened organically, I really wasn't trying. I mean, when I set up the company, I had 2 small children, and it was more of a hobby.
Okay.
It was something that allowed me to pay for their extra expenses without having to dig into the day-to-day budget, and it really was a hobby.
And then it became a passion and
Absolutely.
a business.
It was something I was passionate about, so like I said, it enabled me to pay for daycare, buy all those extra things.
So that's what they get from you, the passion and the knowledge. We'll actually go about the head out here in a little bit.
Okay.
So you got any last big travel advice or any tours coming up you'd like to let the listeners know?
Yeah, like I said, now's a great time to take a last-minute fall vacation. It's also a good time to go ahead, check your passports, make sure they're not expiring in the next 6 to 10 months, because you do want to have a good 6 months left on your passport before you plan any trip. And the last thing you want to do is plan a trip, and the day before, open the drawer and that passport's expired.
Yeah, I've been there before. Well, it was awesome having you, Miss Beth.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Christopher Burns with 91.1 The Boss, and your show, your station to learn about everyone's passion and entrepreneur. I'll see you next time on today's Entrepreneur. Good evening, North Houston.
Bye.